Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to be talking about the real reason why the town of Tumbleweed is eventually abandoned in Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm sure you guys have played Red Dead Redemption, but if you haven't, Tumbleweed essentially becomes a ghost town. It's completely abandoned and basically becomes a gang hideout. However, we don't see this transformation take place because as of 1907 in the epilogue in Red Dead Redemption 2, Tumbleweed has not yet been abandoned. However, it is a small little town. So this begs the question, what happens between 1907 to 1911 that basically turns this sprawling little desert town into an abandoned ghost town? Well, we're going to be talking about all the potential reasons in this video today. So I think the most logical theory for this is that Tumbleweed was basically built around the railroad. So in case you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, in-game, the railroad doesn't extend to Tumbleweed. Instead, it was built around Armadillo. In fact, we even hear this from a character in-game, Marshall Johnson. He says that the railroad was built to Armadillo and had gone completely around Tumbleweed. Now remember, you have to think of what time this is. It would have been 1911. This is when railroads would have been like the biggest form of transportation. Imagine a town in modern time where there wasn't roads, where cars couldn't travel through. That place would become abandoned pretty quickly, you would think, because that's like the modern way in which people transported. It's also the way in which goods were brought into towns. So not having a railroad go through your settlement was huge. So logistically, that makes the most sense that Tumbleweed was eventually abandoned because railroads started to take off, civilization started to boom, and Tumbleweed was essentially forgotten because there was no way to get to it unless you were traveling by wagon or horseback. And in the long run, that just doesn't work all that well. The next theory I have is that Tumbleweed was eventually taken over by the Del Lobo gang. So we've encountered the Del Lobo gang a lot in Red Dead Redemption 2. Basically, they're a group of local bandits that basically live in the desert. And we start to see their uprising in Red Dead Redemption 2 in the epilogue in 1907. And in Red Dead Redemption in 1911, it is like a full-blown gang hideout. So it honestly could be both things. The fact that the town started to become more abandoned due to the lack of the railroad might have caused the bandits to come in and overrun due to a lack of authority or a lack of people. So the Del Lobo are one of the most vicious gangs in Red Dead Redemption 2. I would put them on par with like the Skinner Brothers and the Murphy Brood. They're basically like that group of the desert. They're super vicious. They shoot before asking questions. So it makes sense that a vicious gang would come over and overtake a town, and there would be no support to stop them because how would army men get there if there's no railroad? Tumbleweed is also like super isolated in the desert. Now, sort of building off of that, one of the reasons why I said the Del Lobos might have had the ability to take over was because a lack of authority. Now, something you guys might point out is, what do you mean lack of authority? There's a guy in Tumbleweed named Sheriff Freeman, who's actually like a special character, an NPC that you can interact with, and you find him in Red Dead Online as well. Well, Sheriff Freeman is a no-nonsense type of guy. Just take a listen to this brief encounter you have with him. It'll give you a better idea of who he is.
All of you, this is Tumbleweed. We are the end of the civilized world.
How do you do?
Anarchy exists just outside this town. But here, life is good. And life is good because we follow the rules. Disobedience will be fatal.
Mister?
None of you forget that. Welcome to Tumbleweed, son. Treat us with respect and we'll love you like family. Misbehave, and we'll slaughter you like a hog. That clear, boy? I said, is that clear, boy?
I ain't a troublemaker.
This is a law-abiding town, my friends. We follow the rules. We live the rules. The rules make us happy. The rules are America. America is a land of laws. I am the arbiter of the law. I am the rules. And in this town, the rule of law shall be absolute. I hope that is clear. We are
Morning, sir.
law-abiding people here. Remember that. All of you remember that the law and only the law is king. You, tough guy, welcome to Tumbleweed. Make yourself at home. Treat this place with respect and we will respect you. Here in Tumbleweed, there is one law. My law. The law. My law is the law, and my law is just and fair and extremely unforgiving. Challenge me and you will discover a new definition of justice. My definition. Do I seem like a joke to you? Is that it? Is it?
No.
No, sir, it is not. Correct. No. Behave. Together, we can make Tumbleweed a shining light of American obedience. We can bring civilization to this land of dark savagery. We, the obedient ones, are the civilized ones. Remember that, all of you. God expects obedience. I demand obedience. That, my friends, is the difference. His punishments shall be distributed for all eternity. Mine shall be instant, brief, and extremely unfortunate.
So needless to say, Sheriff Freeman doesn't look as if he's the most forgiving person. And I don't know about you guys, but I would feel kind of threatened to live in an area where the sheriff seemed so power hungry. So that might have been a big turnoff for a lot of people and ultimately might have caused a lot of the townsfolk to leave. Maybe they felt like Sheriff Freeman was too overbearing, too power hungry, and was just crazy in general. So Sheriff Freeman could be a big reason why a lot of people ultimately moved out of Tumbleweed. And the final theory I have definitely requires us putting the tinfoil hat on a little bit, but it has to do with the mysterious plague in Armadillo. So in the description, I'll leave a link to a video I did a couple of months ago. It basically explains the Armadillo curse and why that town is affected by cholera and people are dying. Well, I think that somehow maybe that curse was transferred to Tumbleweed instead. Now, I don't know how that would happen. I don't know how a curse goes from one town to another, but we know that by Red Dead Redemption, Armadillo seems to be on the upswing, which is the complete opposite of how things are in Red Dead Redemption 2. In Red Dead Redemption 2, people are burning bodies, people are leaving Armadillo as quickly as they can, and it's the exact opposite just 4 years later. Things seem to be settling down, people seem to be living there normally, but it's the exact opposite for Tumbleweed. So maybe somehow the curse of Armadillo was transferred and is now the curse of Tumbleweed. Again, I don't know how something like that would occur. If you are interested in The Strange Man and Herbert Moon and the curse of Armadillo, it takes a while to explain, so I'll leave a link to that in the description. But a curse like that would definitely explain why Tumbleweed eventually becomes abandoned. And maybe it took about 4 years for that to take place. Heck, maybe it's a combination of all of the things we listed in this video today. Maybe it was the fact that the railroad wasn't built, which allowed a gang to come in. Having Sheriff Freeman run everyone out maybe encouraged the gang to come in. And then, of course, just the final blow on everything would be the curse of the desert shifting over to Tumbleweed and moving away from Armadillo. Now, I was using Ghost Town in hyperbole, but apparently that's actually the case. Tumbleweed might be haunted. There's a couple of newspaper articles in Red Dead Redemption revealing what citizens think about the ghost town. This first one is Tumbleweed Haunted. Following recent reports of ghost sightings in the abandoned town of Tumbleweed, visitors are continuing to tell of unnatural happenings and strange feelings. Some visitors claim to have seen spirits of the dead. others ghosts, still others ghouls and fairies. Our reporter on the scene found no evidence, but we urge readers to send us reports of any unnatural happenings in the area. And another headline, more ghosts take up residence at Tumbleweed. The town of Tumbleweed, long believed by local residents to be possessed by evil spirits, has claimed the lives of dozens more men. The area was found strewn with dead bodies and weapons, leading the more educated and rationally minded amongst us to conclude that this is the work of mortal rather than unearthly beings. Rumors of riches hidden in Tumbleweed's abandoned mansion may have been the catalyst for the altercation, but for the moment it remains a mystery. So that might be something we investigate in a future video, the ghost mansion of Tumbleweed. That does sound rather interesting because I'm pretty sure it would be, alive and not mysterious as it is in Red Dead Redemption 2. So I think we might end up checking that out in a future video, but that right there should give you a better idea of why the town of Tumbleweed finally becomes abandoned by Red Dead Redemption 2, why it has that curse, and why it's considered a ghost town. So, as always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know what you think happened to Tumbleweed. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.